At least 25 people were killed by Israeli airstrikes and gunshots overnight, according to health officials and the ambulance service in Gaza, as ceasefire talks appear to have stalled and Palestinians face famine. According to local officials at the Shifa hospital, most of the victims were killed by gunfire as they waited for aid trucks close to Zikkim crossing with Israel. On Saturday, thousands of desperate Palestinians still made their way to the Zikkim crossing, risking their lives in a frantic search for food. Experts have warned that Gaza is being pushed closer to famine after months of Israel entirely blocking food or letting in only limited amounts. Israel claims it lets in enough aid and faults UN agencies for not doing enough to retrieve and get it to those in need.
Upon his arrival in Scotland for a 5-day trip, US President Donald Trump declared that immigration is killing Europe. Responding to a question from a reporter, he said that, on immigration, the continent needs to get its act together, or quote, "You're not going to have Europe anymore."
And you got to stop this horrible invasion that's happening to Europe, many countries in Europe. Some people, some leaders have not let it happen. And they're not getting the proper credit they should. I could name them to you right now, but I'm not going to embarrass the other ones.
Trump plans to meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen as he continues to threaten steep trade tariffs. Donald Trump teed off at his golf course in Scotland on Saturday as citizens around the country took to the streets in protest of his visit. Hundreds of demonstrators gathered outside the US consulate in Edinburgh to let Trump know he is unwelcome and criticised British Prime Minister Keir Starmer for striking a recent trade deal with the president. Protests were planned in other cities as environmental activists, opponents of Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza, and pro-Ukraine groups loosely formed the quote, "Stop Trump coalition." Some on the far right took to social media to call for gatherings supporting the US president. While in Scotland, Trump is set to talk trade with Starmer and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
The main fronts in wildfires that have destroyed large areas of Cyprus have been brought under control. However, firefighters remain on high alert as the risk of flare-ups continues. About 125 square kilometers of greenery was reduced to ashes in the mountainous Limassol region, of which 50% was grassland. The wildfires claimed the lives of 2 people, a 77-year-old woman and her 84-year-old husband, who were found in their car. The blaze also resulted in infrastructural damage, with some homes severely damaged or even completely burnt down. The Cypriot government have now announced that it will cover 100% of the damage to the properties of those affected. New airport security screening equipment capable of scanning the contents of large liquid containers could soon be deployed across the European Union. This means passengers would be able to bring bottles containing more than 100 milliliters when traveling. The European Commission is now awaiting final approval from the Civil Aviation Conference before deploying the new equipment at airports.
Once we get the final report and the findings from ECAC, we will be able to give the green light, and then it's for the airports to put everything in place and inform the passengers.
Under the current EU rules, liquids, aerosols and gels included in hand luggage must be packed in containers holding no more than 100 milliliters. Several terminals in Italy already have the new screening system at their disposal, but are not yet permitted to use them.